People always say, like, what's your favorite currency? And I say gratitude.
Yes.
Because when I'm feeling down, and we all feel down,
Yeah.
like, that's a natural emotion that happens to people. You're never but maybe someone is, but I don't know that anyone is
humans
just, like,
are not made
4,000 feet at all times, right?
Human beings are not made like that.
Yeah, right. And so there's this natural ebb and flow of what happens with our emotions. And certainly if I feel down, a lot of times my mainstay where I go is gratitude. It's like, okay, look, this situation might suck. This might be horrible. This might be a disaster. And you actually don't know how the fuck you're going to get
exactly
out of it. But you have a body that works.
Exactly.
Your parents are still alive. You know, you have a husband that loves you and he's hot. Right? I mean, I've got beautiful kids and grandkids. You know, I start going in my list. I've got an amazing team. I have a business that I created, the thing that I wished existed, whatever, just running down the list.
Yeah.
And obviously, everyone has their own version of this. But for me, when there are times that feel overwhelming, I go back to the gratitude. And it's like, you know what, this situation might not be great, but I have so much to be grateful for. And then after that, I take action to be in service to anyone in the community that needs me. And I find that actually is a bit of a trick.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of times when we show up and people say, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? And you're like, sure, no problem. And people are so grateful that you're helping them. But what they don't even realize is, but the exchange that you gave me for welcoming me in and being grateful for me completely changed my mood.
Absolutely. Well, you know, we're hardwired to feel good when we do good for people. And there's an altruism loop. Happier people are more altruistic, and altruism makes you happier. So it actually, we're looped and we're biologically inclined to feel that way.
It's like a dopamine response when you're helping someone.
Yes.
Even if you're giving someone $5 on the street that you know is struggling.
Yes.
You walk away and say, what am I complaining about?
Or a smile, or help a person be seen. You know, and actually, and bring these into the workplace too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are ways that you can present service or kindness, right? In such a small action. Put away your phone if somebody's talking to you. Give them the gift of your attention, right? And fully listen. And listening doesn't mean giving it somebody else an opportunity, you know, like, what am I going to say to what you said? Let me hear what you said. I may not agree with you. And so something that's really important, you know, in the challenging times that we're living right now, is to understand that people have different points of view. It doesn't mean they're right. It's just like people have different points of view. And it's so important to embrace the humanity of other people, because we don't know where they've been. We don't know where they have walked, right? But something really important about gratitude, if you notice, you cannot be unhappy and grateful at the same time. They cancel each other out. And you can choose gratitude. You can choose gratitude, even, and believe me, sometimes it's like, like the list of challenges and problems and the pity party is right here.
Right.
But I know that the pity party is game over, because once you're a victim and you victimize yourself, it's paralyzing. Now, that's not to say that when something is happening that is victimizing you, of course, you have that moment that's actually happening. But at some point, you have to get up from that table and move on. Now, the other thing that you mentioned, to your point, when you said these things that you're grateful for, but you practice that, you've done the work. You know that those are the things you've cultivated that. So it's, if you have never had that experience or that practice, you can have a really shitty day and just be like, but you know what you're grateful for. So you got that in your pocket. So you can take that out. And that's what we do with WHASA and the World Happiness Summit, is raising that awareness and giving you tools, because life will happen.
Yeah.
Life will happen in small, medium, or big ways. It will don't you worry about that, because it will happen. But if you're training for it, right, then you know what to do. And so that builds your resilience. And so the reaction, maybe you don't go as slow or stay as slow as it would be. But a painful situation will always hurt. Now, if you're like running, you're fit, you're thinking, the same thing with your brain. It's like mental, emotional fitness, and how do you hedge for that? So for example, experts say that when you notice something, when you appreciate the good appreciates. I'm sure we all have friends that are always like everything's terrible, everything, and you're like, wait a second, but you just did this, you just did that, and they can't see it because they're like this. They have this tunnel vision. But when you are able to say, oh my God, thank you that my kid, went to school and is getting great grades, or my husband or my wife or my partner or whatever, or this beautiful place that we live in, or whatever it is that it was.
Yeah. Right.
Instead of collecting grievances, and so
switch your focus to
of
gratitude.
course, and it's not rose-colored glasses. I'm not saying
Toxic
ignore.
positivity.
No, absolutely not. Trust me, I have felt all of my emotions. And actually, when I told you my story of how I grew from the experience and I experienced post-traumatic growth, the very first thing you have to do is feel the feelings. And that's why I wanted to shut down, because I knew it was going to hurt and I didn't want it.
You didn't want to sit in it.
I didn't want to sit in it. I didn't want to see, as much as I missed my husband, the pain of seeing your child suffer and there's nothing you can do about it. Nothing. You just have to hold space for it. There is nothing that is more painful. And especially as moms, we're used to making it all better. And this was a situation that I couldn't fix. I couldn't make it better. The only thing that I could do was provide a version of a mother that would be helpful to them.
That was healing.
That's what I could do.
Oh, yeah.